Good morning. I'm recording uh, market segmentation. This is part one where I talk about the concept and the bases of market segmentation. I'm building this lecture around chapter 7 in the Principles of Marketing uh, textbook by by Michael Solomon because that's the textbook I'm using in my class on Principles of Marketing this summer. All right, so first let's talk about the concept. And the concept basically is that we want to divide up the whole market, all of the consumers in the country or in the world, whatever be our market for our product, rather than treating that market as one singular entity, we want to divide it up, like in this figure here. Now, this is of course an artificial figure because let's say these two segments are males and females. It's not like they are all males are located in this particular confined geographical area, and females are located in this confined area. So it's not dividing up the market and putting them into separating them in physical space or time. Rather, it's just a conceptual separation. So conceptually, we say, oh, males are one group and females are another group. Although males and females might be within the same household, same family, same city, same country, same store. So in that sense, it's not a division in space and time, but rather it's a division in terms of the identity of two different consumers. That's one way of talking about the market segment. But actually, dividing up itself is not really the good way of looking at market segments. We are not taking the whole market and taking a divider and say here. It's not like it's a piece of cake and then we cut the slices, or a pizza that we cut the slices. So we divide up the cake, we divide up the pizza, but we are not really dividing up the market in the traditional sense of the word. So a better definition is that we are basically looking at the whole market and looking at people in that market, individual consumers in that market, and identifying certain differences. So when we look at two consumers, we say, yeah, this consumer is different than this consumer, and this third consumer is similar to the first consumer. So we're basically identifying differences and then putting people together, grouping them together so that those people who on a particular dimension are not different, we put them together. People who are different on those two dimensions, we put them in two groups. So this is a group of males that we identified differences, identified that they are males and these people are here are different, or these people are young and these people are middle aged and these people are old. So this is to me then a better definition of market segmentation, that we look at all of the individuals in a market and identify differences, and then according to those differences we place similar people into one group, so another set of similar people in another group, and we got voila, we got two segments. So that to me is a better definition. So then the next question is differences on what bases, on what dimensions, how shall we identify those differences, and those then become the bases of market segmentation or criteria. So one of those criteria can be demographics. As you realize, we all differ in our demographics, uh, uh, and I'll tell you in a minute what demographics are. And then this is coming out of sequence, so let me Then psychographics. We also differ on our psychographics, and in a minute, actually, we did talk about psychographics in the previous chapter, but I'll talk about it briefly again. And then behavioral is another basis, and I'll talk about what behavioral mean. And then, of course, the people could differ in the manner in which they relate to products. So when we say product related, people could differ in what they want in a particular product, and we could then segment them according to that. So demographics, we all know what demographics are. Your age is a demographic, your sex or gender is a demographic, your income or social class is a demographic, your ethnicity is a demographic, your family life cycle. We talked about these ideas again in the previous chapter. Family life cycle simply means whether you're single, you're married, you have a small child, you're an empty nester, and so on. And then geographic. So we could also segment our market based on the geographic region. So we could say southwest, we could say northeast, or even states like Arizona and Ohio could be two different market segments depending on what our product is. So let's look at these a little bit more in detail. Age, as you know, the various age groups are boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z, or millennials. Children could be another segment. Seniors or elderly could be another segment. Now, if you take sex, then of course it's men and women. I don't have to talk more about it. But also one of the concepts is metrosexual that's talked about in the book, and I think I talked about it in the previous chapter as well. You can read up more about metrosexuals. Because of the time available, obviously in my presentation I cannot go into the details, particularly about ideas that you are either familiar with or can read about it independently. Income and social class, family life cycle, ethnicity. Ethnicity is a big segmentation basis. Income and social class is, of course, again a big segmentation basis. So if you look at for example, various stores, Nordstrom versus Walmart, obviously they're targeting different income groups, or different people of different income groups will find these particular stores appealing. Nordstrom or Macy's or JCPenney versus Walmart, what else? Target, and so on. Likewise, ethnicity, certain products are targeted towards particular ethnic groups, particularly the ethnic type of foods. So there are Spanish foods targeted at Hispanic, and then of course the mainstream foods, or the clothing. Some clothing, particularly for rituals and festivals, is worn by Hispanics, is worn by Asian Americans, by Chinese Americans, and so if you are marketing those particular products which belong to the ethnic cultures, then we segment the market by ethnicity. Psychographics. So these, as you read in the previous chapters, psychographics are our mental makeup. What is my mental makeup? By that I mean what are my motivations in life? What are my values? What are my attitudes towards various issues in life? But also, what are my interests? What are my hobbies? All of those things put together are psychographics, and as we read in the previous chapter, my mental makeup then leads to my lifestyle, the way I live, the way I spend my time and money. And so psychographics is a more general term. Lifestyle is the manner in which we live, and our lifestyles can be a basis of segmenting the target market. I'll say a little bit more about it later. One particular segmentation scheme under psychographics or lifestyles, if you will, actually more so under psychographics, because is VALS, VALS, that stands for values and lifestyle, and this is by a company, SRI Business used to be the name of that company. So if you look at the WALS questionnaire, and you can actually take the survey, go to Google and type WALS survey, you can actually take that survey and then it will tell you what type you are. If you look at that survey, it actually goes not just into your activities and your lifestyle, so to speak, but also on your opinions, on your beliefs about various things in life. And so it's in that sense that it also taps into your mental makeup, and therefore it's more of a psychographic segmentation rather than merely lifestyle segmentation. So I ask you to read about it more in the book. Next one is the geodemographics. Geodemographics means your demographics and geographics combined. And part of the reason we use that is that there is a belief that people who live in a particular area are more similar than people who live in some other area. And so we could take similar pieces of geography, similar locations around the country, like let's say Beverly Hills, and then we could take the area in Hampton in New York, and probably Beverly Hills and Hampton might be similar, but they would be different than, let's say, a rural town in Mississippi, and that rural town in Mississippi would probably be similar to, let's say, a rural town in Ohio. So then it makes sense to put the rural town in Mississippi and rural town in Ohio together as one segment, and it might make sense to put Rodeo Drive in Hampton into another segment, so to speak. So that's what we mean by geodemographics. PRISM is a particular scheme under Nielsen now. PRISM stands for, it's an acronym. You can read more about it in the book. And then we have behavioral. By behavior, we mean, what is your behavior? Behavior means your activity. Behavior means your actual action, particularly in the domain of the product. So your action and life in general, that comes under the lifestyle. So you are interested into arts, you are interested in music, you play sports. All of those are also behaviors, but those are behaviors in your life in general, and they go under psychographics and lifestyle. Here we are talking about your behavior in relation to the product category. So for example, let's say soup, canned soup. Now some of us are heavy users of canned soup, and some of us are light users of canned soup, and some of us are non-users. So how much of a user are you of a particular product? Then that becomes a use rate basis of segmentation. So I gave you an example of soup. Are you a heavy user, light user, non-user? Now that basis of segmentation is useful to me only if I'm a soup marketer. If I'm a sneaker marketer, then that's not useful. So that's the idea in behavioral segmentation. I'm going to look at all of my consumers and look at their action in relation to my product. Use occasion. So do you use soup only when somebody in the family falls sick, for example? Only at dinner time? Only when you have big party around, you have a big family get together, only when you eat alone. So when do you use soup? Only when you are not in a cooking mood, or do you make soup like in bulk and let it last for a whole week? So that's what we mean by use occasion. And then loyalty. Are you loyal to a particular brand? Doesn't have to be my brand. Of course, I want to know further whether you're loyal to my brand, but more than that, I want to know if you're loyal or not loyal. And why is that? Because we would be able to do some marketing mix, take some marketing action, maybe create a communication that's good, that will appeal only to heavy users. We could create another piece of communication that would be good, that will appeal only to light users. We could do promotion for light users. We may decide not to do any promotion for heavy users, because we would be able to undertake a different marketing action for different segments based on their loyalty, based on the use occasion, based on the use rate. This basis of segmenting the market also becomes very useful. Now, product related. Here we mean are, are there differences in the manner in which consumers look to the product? What is it in the product that they look for? And here are some examples. So, consumer A might look for a particular specific feature, consumer B might look for in the same product at some other specific feature. Uh, and so here are the examples. Some people might want gluten free, some people might want kosher, some people might want vegetarian, some people might want no MSG, some people might want hypoallergenic. Here I'm talking about pillow, for example, whereas here I was talking about food. Some people may want only low price product. And then some of these features you might seek because they relate to your personal value. So the fact that you want gluten free is not related to any personal value. Kosher might be related to personal value. Vegetarian might be related to, but no MSG and no hypoallergenic are not related to your personal value. The focus here is on value. It's related to your need of your body. For example, you can't take gluten. Your body is allergic to gluten. Here we are talking about personal value related, and that becomes a very important segment of the market because personal values, people are very committed to the personal values. And so they seek products that satisfy those personal values. And environment could be one. You might be pro-environmental, or you might feel that you need to buy only made in USA because that's your personal value. And then we come to product benefits, which are somewhat related to the product features. We'll talk about product benefits again in a few minutes. From the product benefits, we come to the idea of benefit segmentation. This is a very important way of segmenting the market. Why? Because it relates to the product directly, in that when I'm designing the product, beyond the specific feature, what benefits do I want to give to the consumer in the same product? And in the same product category, it is possible to design versions of the product, version A, version B, model B, so that the benefits from model A will be different than the benefits from model B. So here is an example of toothpaste. So Sensodyne, for example, Pepsodent, and Tom's. So Tom's is presenting itself as simply white. That means it's catering to people whose principal benefit that they seek is that it'll whiten their teeth. They don't care what you put in the product. They don't care how you make it a whitener product. So that's why it's a little different from the feature. They are not looking for a specific feature. They are looking for a very concrete, distinct benefit. Whereas Pepsodent is targeting people who seek cavity fighting. The principal benefit these consumers seek is cavity fighting. Whereas here, they are, it says repair here, so probably it also has to do with gum repair. But more than that, the gums are sensitive. They get the feeling of sensation when you use particular usual brand of toothpaste or any other brand of toothpaste. So these people are seeking a toothpaste that will not give unpleasant or intense sensation to their teeth. So here are some internal influences on CDMB. So internal actually, I have taken this this particular slide because I also used it in the previous chapter where we were talking about internal influences on CDMP. So let's not focus on the title. The title is from the previous chapter slide. But let's look at these three brands of perfume. You have Christian Dior, you have Chanel, and you have Mossimo. Look at how these three the brands are targeting three different consumers. Are these consumers different in age? Probably slightly, but that's not the important thing. They're obviously not different on gender. Are they different on social status or income class? It's not apparent from these three people. These three people could be from the same income class. Are they from different ethnicity? Probably not. They could be, but that's immaterial. What is the main basis by which these three products are targeting three different segments? And if you think about it, it's not demographics, rather it is psychographics. The kind of these three people are, the self concept, who they think they are. So for example, this person, let's look at this person. This person is probably an achiever, an affluent, maybe she's an executive during her day job. She's out on an evening, so she is one who organizes or attends to high class glamorous parties. She's a socialite, and in terms of her life at large or her uh, day job, so to speak, maybe she's an executive. She looks affluent. We have here another person who probably is equally affluent, but uh, she is like young at attitude. She doesn't take herself that seriously. She is more playful. She is more innovative, more adventuresome, more uniqueness seeking. She wants to stand out from the normal crowd. She is probably whimsical. And then here we have another person. Her focus is on looking sexy. Her focus is on looking distinct in terms of the physical appearance, in terms of her attitude towards herself. But I would say sexy, looking sexy is the principal idea here. And of course, what is sexy is relative. So someone might say that he or she looks sexy, or that she looks sexy. But what I'm saying is that you could make other attributions about the kind of person this person is, and the kind of person this person is. But here, the major attribution that will occur to us, and of course, it's very subjective. You could look at it differently. The major attribution is that here is a consumer who is sexy, therefore, Massimo is for a consumer who is sexy. You do not have to buy into my interpretation. All I'm saying is that in looking at these pictures, you would be imagining a different type of personality, and that you would be imagining a personality for this picture that's different. Then the personality you would be imagining is different. The psychographics that you would be imagining for this consumer would be different than the psychographics that you would be imagining for this consumer, then the psychographics you would be imagining for this consumer. That's what I mean by psychographic differences between the consumers. Here is another example. So this is an example of lifestyles, activities, interests, and opinions, which is what AIO stands for. So you have this consumer here, uh, uh, whose lifestyle is outdoorsy, adventurous. They are hiking, uh, uh, and so on. Here it's a sports oriented, call it lifestyle of the rich and famous. The suit here, the rose bud in the pocket, the cigar smoking, the lady in the background with a fashionable oversized hat, that looks like a Kentucky Derby type of a situation. So this is a sports oriented affluent setup. This is how, and you could put any product here. Just put your bottle of whatever. Put your bottle of whatever. You could put. It doesn't have to be an ad for clothing. It can be a bottle of cologne if you like. It could be a drink if you like. It could be a beverage if you like. It could be a piece of furniture. It could be a piece of jewelry. It could be a watch. You could put anything here, and you will have then targeted that particular segment. So here is another example. So these people are members of a gym, not the same gym. So maybe some gym is catering only to this customer, some gym is catering to this customer, some gym is catering to this customer, some gym is catering to this customer. What are the differences between these customers? So assuming that these are the only activities each one of these consumer is engaging in, so this person is probably interested in toning her muscles. Whereas this person is interested in weight reduction, one would assume so. This person is interested in weight reduction. Uh, this person is interested in bodybuilding, pumping iron. This person is interested in just in relaxation. And these people want to take some class, light exercise, but also it's a co-ed class, little bit fun, so socializing. Uh, this is what we mean. This is also an example of benefit segmentation. From the gym, these people are seeking different benefits. That's why either you could make a gym that's omni benefits. It offers everything. It offers sauna, it offers exercise room, bicycle room, it offers the weights room, and so on and so forth. It offers a class like this, or you could design your gym to cater to only one person, like only people who are into pumping iron, or only people who really want to do vigorous exercise to reduce the reduce the weight, or only people who want to come and relax. In that gym you would just have the pool and sauna. You don't need and maybe juice bar. You don't need anything else. uh, or you would offer have a gym where you would have classes, lots of classes, 3 classes a day, 5 classes a day, co-ed classes, at times convenient to maybe these are millennials, convenient to millennials. So these are examples of benefit segmentation. As I mentioned already, these people are seeking, this is my scheme for benefit segmentation for this particular product. So we could divide the market for exercisers into those who are seeking correctional fitness and look at which person is looking for correctional fitness. This person probably, and this person. And then there are people who are just looking for maintenance fitness, and maybe it's these people, or maybe it's this person. And then build up fitness, maybe again this person, this person. I mean, the picture doesn't tell us the whole story. We'll need to know a little bit more about this person to figure out whether he is in maintenance fitness or in build up fitness. Okay. And then relaxation, so this person is looking for relaxation. Socialization, these people are probably looking for socialization. They might also be looking for maintenance fitness. Again, we would need to know more, but this is my example of benefit segmentation for the exercise market, and I'm done with it. Thank you.